Proposition 1 is high-speed rail bonds.
A yes vote on this measure means the state could sell $9.95 billion in general obligation bonds to plan and partially fund the construction of a high-speed rail system in California and to make capital improvements to state and local rail services.
A no vote on this measure means the state could not sell $9.95 billion in the general obligation bonds for these purposes.
For this proposition, 315 Rio Americana students voted yes for it, and 178 students voted no. Proposition 4, the waiting period and parental notification before termination of minor's pregnancy.
A yes vote on this measure means the state constitution would be changed to require that a physician notify, with certain exceptions, a parent or legal guardian of a pregnant minor at least 48 hours before performing an abortion.
A no vote on this measure means minors would continue to receive abortion services to the same extent as adults. Physicians performing abortion for minors would not be subject to notification requirements.
For this proposition, Rio Americana students voted 140 in favor and 357 not in favor. For Proposition 7, it's the renewable energy generation.
California, including publicly owned utilities, would be required to increase their proportion of electricity generated from renewable resources such as solar and wind power beyond the current requirement of 20% by 2010 to 40% by 2020, 50% by 2025, or face specified penalties.
A no vote on this measure means electricity providers in California, except publicly owned ones, would continue to be required to increase their proportion of electricity generated from renewable resources to 20% by 2010. The current requirements on privately owned utilities to purchase renewable electricity would continue to be limited by an annual cost cap on the total amount of such purchases. Electricity providers would continue to be subject to the existing penalty process, in which the penalty rate, currently 5 cents per kilowatt per hour, and a total annual penalty cap are set alternatively. Administratively, the required time frames for approving new renewable electricity plans would not be shortened.
For this proposition, Rio students voted yes 348 votes and no 146 votes. For Proposition 8, eliminating rights of the same-sex couples to marry.
A yes on this measure means the California Constitution will specify that only marriage between a man and a woman is valid or recognized in California.
A no vote on this measure means marriage between individuals of the same sex would continue to be valid or recognized in California.
For this proposition, 138 Rio students voted yes on this measure, and 363 Rio students voted no. Proposition 11 is redistricting.
A yes vote on this measure means boundaries for State Senate, Assembly, and Board of Equalization districts will be drawn up on a new commission made of California registered voters. Boundaries for U.S. House of Representatives districts would continue to be drawn by the legislature.
A no vote on this measure means boundaries for State Senate, Assembly, Board of Equalization, and U.S. House of Representatives districts would continue to be drawn by the legislature.
For this proposition, 202 Rio students voted yes, and 259 Rio students voted no.